Protection Officer, and I head the Protection Department of Bidibidi Refugees Settlement. I'm with my colleague here.
Yes, good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah, my name is Shaka Kenneth. I work here under the Office of the Prime Minister as an Assistant Settlement Commandant.
Thank you very much. I once again welcome you to the settlement. Bidibidi Refugees Settlement was opened in August 2016. It was essentially to hold an influx of South Sudanese refugees. And as of now, we have a population of around 199 South Sudanese refugees. It covers an area coverage of 250 square miles. And yes, it was open to essentially have South Sudanese refugees, but we have some few Congolese. It covers 5 zones, Zone 1 up to Zone 5. And Zone 1 has 14 villages, Zone 2, 11 villages, Zone 4, 10 villages, Zone 5, 24 villages. Where we are now is the base camp. And from here to Zone 5, it is about 75 kilometers. Yes. So to and fro you can calculate. Bidibidi, it is one of the biggest settlements in the world. Actually in Africa, it is #1. Refugee management, as you well know, it is managed by Office of the Prime Minister, Department of Refugees. So in managing the refugees here, we don't do it alone. We do it together with United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees. But still, we cooperate with the Uganda district local government. As you are aware, land on which we have settled these refugees does not belong to the government. Unlike the settlements in Western Uganda, where land belongs to the government, the land in West Nile, where we have settled the refugees, belongs to the members of the host community, who gave it to us through goodwill. So, we work together with the Uganda district local government. And in the settlement, we work with partners. And we have different partners. Partners in protection, partners in livelihood, partners in wash, partners in education, partners in food and sector, partners in infrastructure. So these partners work together to see that the persons we serve, the refugees whom we call the persons of concern, get services. And how do we manage the settlement? Each zone has administrative units. We have assistant settlement commandants. The settlement is headed by a settlement commandant. Now, at a zonal level, these partners meet every month. We have what we call monthly coordination meetings, where they tell us what they have been doing, the challenges, and the activities they intend to do. So this one helps us to evaluate them, because majorly as OPM, we are supposed to coordinate all these activities and see that there is smooth operation and the refugees get better services. So in order to get to that, we make sure we always evaluate ourselves. Therefore, that's why we have monthly meetings. We have sector meetings. All these sectors I mentioned: livelihood, protection, education, wash, infrastructure. They also meet every month. Then later, at the settlement level, we have the interagency, where now all these partners come and meet. They tell us what they are doing, the activities they are doing, the challenges they have faced, and the planned activities. So this is how we manage the settlement. Now, with the refugees we have, these villages are divided, of course, into villages, but later clusters, then at the zonal level. We have refugee welfare councils. Of course, in any setting, you should have people who help in bridging the gap between the partners and the people there on the ground. So, in the management of refugees, we have what we call refugee welfare councils. And these are people who are democratically elected by the refugees. And their term of office is 2 years. As I'm talking now, we recently finished conducting the RWC elections. So each village has a chairperson and the 9-man team cabinet, the way you see the LC1 structure of Uganda. So the chairperson, the vice chairperson, secretary for youth, secretary for women at that level, each village. Then at a cluster level, we have RWC 2. Then at a zonal level, each zone has an RWC 3. Now, these are the people who help us in coordinating with the refugees on ground. Additional to that, as you are here, I want to assure you that the security situation in the camp is normal and calm. In every zone, we have a police post. And in coordinating this, we work with the police to keep law and order. And even as we are aware of the mandate of police, as in the Constitution, Article 212, to cooperate with the civilian community, we have the neighborhood watch team in the settlement and the secretary for security. So in case of anything, these ones get in touch with the police and the police responds. So basically, that is a brief about Bidibidi, and we are no longer receiving settlement. We stopped receiving refugees in December 2016. Our sister settlement of Rhino Camp and Mvepi is the one now receiving refugees. So basically, that's how we manage the settlement. And I want to thank the government of Uganda, Yumbe District Local Government, and the international community for seeing that the refugees are supported. Because these are our brothers and sisters who left their country, not because of their will, but because of insecurity. And as you are aware, Uganda is regarded as one of the countries with the best refugee policy. And why so? Because of our open door policy. And if you see the way we settle refugees here, they mingle with the members of the host community. Like if you in Kenya, refugees are put in one gazetted area, so they don't mix with the members of the host community. But here, refugees share resources with the members of the host community. Water points, schools, hospitals, even interventions. If partners have interventions in livelihood, 30% goes to the host community and 70% to the refugees. To 70% to the refugee community. Basically, that's why we say we make sure that there is peaceful coexistence and harmonious relationship, because the land on which we settled the refugees belongs to the members of the host community. So how do we ensure that the refugees and the members of the host community always work together and cooperate? We make sure they do so through sharing resources. We normally have community dialogues. We normally have sensitization meetings, and we engage the leaders, both the refugee leaders and the members of the host community. So basically, by and large, I want to assure you that we are moving on smoothly, though we have some few challenges, but we shall continue to serve the refugees. Of course, because of these changes in the economic structure, we have had effects. For example, the food ration of refugees being cut from like 70% to 40%. So this one is a challenge, and some of them being removed from the food ration of every month and being taken as self-reliant. And therefore, that one comes with challenges because you look at the climate, the terrain. So, because if you are not getting food, you are supposed to use livelihood as a means of what? Survival. And the climate is not favorable. The soil, you have come when it is now okay, but the dry spell takes it is always takes much time here in the Bidibidi Refugee Settlement. So with those few remarks, I thank you very much and hand you over.
Your name again?
Akankwasa Rogers, Assistant Protection Officer. Time I can welcome questions.
This is no longer receiving settlement.
Yes.
Tell us what exactly that means and what is going on.
Now, when we said that this is no longer a receiving settlement, when we opened the settlement in August 2016, we are receiving new arrivals. We are here in Zone 1. There is a place is called the Reception Center. This is where we would receive them before giving them what? Plots. Initially, this area was a bush. So we would receive them, then do what we call plot demarcation. Give them residential plots of 30 by 30, then give them NFIs, non-food what? Items, tarpaulins, carpets, such that they start a new life. But as we are talking now, they are in a stage called care and maintenance. We are no longer in emergency. So we have a reception center. It is called Goboro. So if there are some few cases of those asylum seekers that are running out from South Sudan, they are picked, taken to Goboro, they spend there some nights, then they are taken to receiving settlement, which is now in Vepi or Rhino, then given those NFIs, and then taken to the settlement for settling. So when I say we are not a receiving settlement, Bidibidi is no longer receiving new arrivals.
Okay. Thank you, Rogers. You talked of zones and villages. What is the population in these demarcations? The number of people in a village, then in a zone, so that you reach the 5 you have said.
Yes. I told you the entire population is around 199,000 refugees. And with the zones, for example, Zone 1 has about 45, Zone 3, which is the highest, has about 60,000, Zone 2 has about also 60,000. So if you need those statistics, you can officially write to us and then we give them to you.
Yes, Mr. Kankwasa, you said these people came since 2016, quite long. As the population that came remained intact, or others have integrated with the host community, or others went back to...
Thank you very much. By the time Bidibidi was regarded as the biggest settlement in Africa, December 2016, when we closed, when we stopped receiving, we had a population of about 260,000 refugees. But after 2 years, we have a process, we do an activity we do called verification. Cognizant of the fact that there are many porous border points and our refugees have freedom of movement, they move, so they are not always in one place. So we have been doing verification. So you see the number has drastically reduced from 260 to 100 what?
99.
Because of the movements. So the number has reduced. And every 2 years we do verification. Like you see, we are now going to do the census in Uganda. Uganda does it every after how many years?
10.
So for us in refugees, we do verification every after
2 years.
Yes, to ascertain the exact number of the refugees we have. Cognizant of even of the fact that new babies are born, others die, and others go spontaneously move.
Is there any plan for government to take these refugees back to their countries since they have overstayed, and is there that plan?
Thank you very much. There are 3 durable solutions for refugees, and based on what you have asked, there is what we call voluntary repatriation. Now, if it is resolved, or if it is known and the reasonable man test that South Sudan is now peaceful, and the Ugandan government and the UNHCR go there and visit and see that the country is peaceful, these people can be voluntarily repatriated altogether. Yes. But as you are aware, peace is not yet back in South Sudan. So at the moment, there are no what? There are no plans. Thank you.
Thank you, Rogers. What is the influx of supporting agencies at the moment, looking at the situation the settlement is going through? What is the influx of supporting agencies or development partners coming to join hands with the current situation that you're not receiving any new refugees?
Of course, in emergency, we normally have, like in emergency, we had over 120 partners operating in Bidibidi. But as I'm talking now, we have about 80. So during emergency, partners are many. When we are now under care and maintenance, partners reduce. And even now, this one has been affected by the economic crisis. Most partners are moving out because of the donor funding that has been cut.
Thank you, Rogers. You said these people are free to live with the community. Are they allowed to work or get jobs around?
Yes, that's one of the reasons why we say Uganda's refugee policy is good. And Uganda is regarded as a country with one of the best refugee policy, because refugees have the rights like those ones of Ugandans. Save for, they are not supposed to own what? Land, like, because land ownership is vested in the citizens of what? Uganda. Maybe if they are getting it under leasehold. Secondly, they are not supposed to be involved in the politics of our country, like voting. But these other rights, accessing the courts of law, employment, education, business, engaging in trade and commerce, they are supposed to what? To do so. And that's why, if they engage, for example, in trade and commerce, they have a duty to pay what? Taxes. They also have a duty to abide by the laws and the regulations of what? Of Uganda. So they are not above the law. If a refugee commits a crime, he's treated the same way Ugandan is what? Because they are bound by the laws and the regulations of Uganda.
Rogers, is it possible to tell us, on average, how much money is spent on a refugee here?
On average?
Yes.
That one, I need to address my mind on that issue, because for us we do coordination. We do coordination when it comes to monetary issues. That one I'm not, so that one I cannot answer now.
Which languages are commonly spoken in these camps?
Thank you very much. The major language that is spoken here is Juba, Arabic, and then Kakwa. Yes.
Well, thank you. I have two questions. One, I'd like to know the extent to which the refugees has affected service delivery to the local population. Service delivery to the local population, because from what you are saying, seems they have access to amenities that I don't know if they're intended to the local community or both sides. I want to understand the extent. Two, recently that side of Parabet, Lamu, we had issue of clashes between some people, persons of conscience, 3 died, and some were injured, and over 90 were arrested. Have you had such case this side?
Thank you very much. On your first issue, the refugee influx, by and large, has positively impacted on the host community. I told you this area was a bush, but we put access roads, we put up schools, we put up hospitals. We have around 16 health facilities. We have over 30 primary schools, ECDs, early childhood education centers. This place never had water, but we have boreholes that have been put in place. We have motorized water systems that have been put in place. The market is booming. So really, by and large, this has positively impacted on the host community. Only that, when it comes now to environment, with environment, because when talk of firewood, grass for thatching, so this one has a bit affected the environment. But as partners, we make sure we come up with measures. For example, giving these refugees trees to plant, coming up with the energy saving measures. So we come in to mitigate that. On your question of some conflicts, yes, these ones are there. We normally have fights, but not to a larger extent. That one that happened in Parabek was to a larger extent. In Bidibidi, we have had few of them, but not to that extent, because we are always alert.
Practically, the children of the refugees go to school together with the children of the host community and so on. That is
Yes.
how people mix up.
Yes, that's how. The schools, the water points, the hospitals, they mix up. That's why this one is called a settlement what? System, not a camp what? In a camp, refugees are put in one gazetted area, and they are only refugees that stay there, as if they're in a prison. But here, they have freedom of, yes. And if you want to know the rights of refugees, we are guided by the Refugee Act 2006. There you will find the rights of refugees. Yes, Bishop.
Oh, yes. Mine is to thank you very much, because we have been seeing your work from the very beginning, when the South Sudanese refugees started to arrive in 2013, December, at Zaipi Parish. We were the first to receive them in Zaipi Parish in December 2013. And we saw how you came in, UNHCR, government, and settled them in New Manzi, which was the first reception center. And in 2016, again, when the influx of refugees increased, they came here. We were also with you, with the former nuncio, His Excellency Michael Bloom. We used to come a lot. And at that time, there were no buildings like this. We used to find miserable people getting food, getting tents, and so on. But now, as I come with this group, I also see a big change. The refugees are more settled in the land, as you said. They are growing also food. And also, we have been visiting our parishes which are established among them, and visiting also some projects that the church has been doing among them. Recently, I was in Tuajini, where we opened an ICT center in primary school, and also in some health centers where we provided solar power under John Paul II JPC, Justice and Peace Commission. So I just want to say thank you very much. You have done a very commendable work, which I want our brothers and sisters here to know. Things were not like this. Even now, we are not seeing the refugees. We used to find them in thousands on compound like this. So this is a good sign that they are being hosted now in the land where they can do their work, and we have to appreciate our government, as you have said. We have to appreciate UNHCR. We have to appreciate also the different refugee agencies. As church, we have been also participating under Caritas Uganda, Caritas Arua Diocese, Caritas Norway, Caritas Denmark, and many others. So we are very grateful for the good reception you have been giving us when we come to join hands with you. Thank you very much.
Take this opportunity to thank the Catholic community. Now, I talked of partners in the settlement, partners that are in peaceful coexistence, and partners that are in livelihood. I want to tell you that in a peaceful coexistence, we have that partner, John Paul Peace Center, which is doing well. We also have Caritas Arua, which is in livelihood, even Caritas Uganda. So I want to thank you very much for the support to the refugees. And we normally even come to radio patches for the programs. When we want to sensitize the refugees, when we want to sensitize the host community, we normally use radio patches. And I'm glad that its coverage is very good. And I applaud you. Please keep it up. And we are very grateful. Thank you.
So I hope you are aware of it.
Yeah, I'm aware of all those patches radio stations. So that's why I'm very...
For our operation, for Bidibidi, and it stretches. When you look, for example, behind here, that one is gazetted for non-food items. It's operated by AIRD with UNSR. So when you go beyond up there, there's where we have a space for the World Food Program, where all the food ratios are kept. So it stretches from the other side. It's not only here as you see, but if you moved up, you'll see the first gate for non-food item. Actually, we have even a garage for all our operation cars. We repair our cars from here. We have even a petrol station inside here. Once in a while, when fuel is out, that's when we use our cards for emergency. We use Total cards for emergency, but we have almost everything here. We have the garages, the petrol station. Then the other side, we have the World Food Program stores. At least to us that time. Yeah.